Any other hackers here today? Yeah, good, okay. I have so much to share. I work at the Intellectual Ventures Lab with Nathan Myhrvold and Bill Gates, trying to figure out how to invent for the biggest problems that we can find. I want to show you what that looks like a little bit. So, for almost the whole history of the world, there just weren't any people. Until about 160,000 years ago, we got the first ones. Then a few thousand, a few 100,000, a few million. And then, you know, here's that hockey stick growth curve we're beating you over the head with. Just 200 years ago, we got the first billion. And since then, bam, 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 7 billion people in 2011. And what happened over that time is that we solved the hard technical problems that kept humans from thriving, right? It wasn't government policy, it wasn't religion, some charity, an election. Every time, humans invented a new technology that solved one of the threats that kept us from going. How do you feed all these people, eradicate disease, give most of them jobs, get them in homes, right? So if there's one thing all these extra people are good for, it's making more problems. So we have to figure out how are we going to scale up our ability to invent solutions at the same rate that we create the problems, right? So I work at the Intellectual Ventures Lab. This is what it looks like. We basically just bought one of every tool in the world, hired one of every kind of scientist, put them all on the same team, and started trying to implement science fiction. And that's a weird business, but it turns out that if you invent at a large scale, some of the other speakers already talked about this, you have to try a lot because most of your ideas won't work, but if you try at a really large scale, eventually you get those hits. So here's some of our greatest hits. We're most famous for inventing a machine that can find mosquitoes and shoot them down with laser beams, which we thought was fun, yeah. This is kind of what that looks like. It's very satisfying work if you can get it because you could kill as many mosquitoes as you want and not even PETA comes to save them. So here we hadn't quite tuned our lasers, so we just vaporized an entire bug. As long as it's not cute, you can kill it. That's basically the rule. All right, so we invented this, probably our simplest invention is a giant tube. You stick it in the ocean. Using wave energy, it pumps the hot water from the surface down, cooling the surface of the ocean so that hurricanes don't get so much fuel. It's really simple as a way of suppressing hurricanes. This invention, it just puts tiny little white particles up in the stratosphere to reflect a little bit of sunlight before it gets into Earth's atmosphere, heating up greenhouse gases. It's a way of ameliorating some of the effects of global warming. Probably our most important invention so far is a new type of nuclear reactor. It's powered by nuclear waste. It's a modern, safe reactor design. It's a lot more efficient than today's reactors. We estimate with this one stockpile of depleted uranium in Paducah, Kentucky, we can power the entire planet, including growth, for about the next 1,000 years with carbon-free energy, right? It's not like making iPhone apps. It takes a long time to build a new reactor technology, but we're working on it. So you can share it in a while. See if you can find yourself on this chart. Say you're in like the blue part or the red part. If you're in the bottom 99% in America, on your worst day, lost your job, girlfriend left you, iPhone battery is dead, you're still in the top 14% globally. That's pretty good. It's like being a lottery winner. You got to be human, which is pretty good for being a mammal. You got to be American, which is pretty good. especially, if you like to fly around the world and blow shit up. But what I think it means is that the world has overinvested in us, right? More money, more education, more energy has been spent on us than most of those other folks in the world. And I think that it means we need to do what we're uniquely endowed to do, right? That means taking on some problems that we don't have. If you have an iPhone in your pocket, the cost of that thing is equivalent to the global median income. Not for a person, but for a whole family, right? I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I have piles of these things. But what I think it means is we got to take our experience. We're good at, solving problems that we have. In Silicon Valley, we have this religion called scratch and itch. Scratch and itch means find a problem that you have and solve it, because you'll be good at, budget market research, right? But we're kind of running out of problems here. My problems are like, iPhone battery doesn't last all day, relationship problems, not existential problems, right? So I think of those things as practice. Go make an iPhone app to have shit delivered to your dorm room. That's a good practice project. Learn to ship a product, learn to support, all those things. But then try to take on some problem that you don't have, that a billion people do have, who didn't get the education and resources and experience that you have, right? That's harder, but I think that's the important thing. So here's an example. This woman's packing $25,000 worth of vaccines into a $2 styrofoam cooler. She's going to truck them out into rural Africa, start injecting kids. Almost half of those vaccinations are going to fail because they didn't stay cold. That's all. 250,000 kids a year will die of something they were vaccinated against because they didn't stay cold. We have no detection for that, so we just inject them anyway. You and I don't have this problem. We have refrigerators and a power grid, and it's amazing. So we invented this thing. It's kind of a super thermos. You can put vaccines in there, stick it in the sunshine, in the Sahara. No external power. There's no power cord. You can't plug it in. Come back a couple months later, and your vaccines will still be cold. Now, this wasn't that. No, thanks. The actual team that's working on this will appreciate that. The thing about it is, it wasn't that hard. I mean, not again, the team working on it might say it's hard. They had to go to Senegal, they had to go to Ethiopia, they had to go see the problem in real life and internalize that and come back. But the truth is, we got a lab full of physicists and engineers who love doing this stuff. It's easy for them in a way that it's not for the people who have this problem, right? So this is literally the deployment scenario. You take this R2-D2 looking thing and strap it to a camel, walk for days out into rural Ethiopia where there are no roads, and start injecting kids. And this is important. This is how we're going to get rid of polio once and for all. Again, this is how we're going to solve these other problems, right? That styrofoam cooler they use today has the ability to keep things cold for 4 hours. So we, with our abilities, can dramatically improve using these new technologies that we invent and bring them to the world. So historically, humans advanced, and every other species, through what we call biological evolution, right? This is how you got 2 eyeballs and those opposable thumbs, and it's amazing new technologies that were created through biological evolution, right? But that's long and slow. So we started to get anxious, and we started inventing new tools. We invented the hammer, and fire, and the wheel, and, the hula hoop. No other species has yet to invent the hula hoop. I don't know why. Lasers, transistors, right? We're going to continue. And those kinds of inventions They're not biological in nature. Those are things we have to use our mind to create. It used to be that you just had to die to innovate, right? That's how evolutionary biology works. Through generations of sex and gamma rays, you create a lot of variations or mutations. You let them all go at it and see which ones survive, right? That's how. Now we flip that around, right? Now we're trying to innovate in less than a generation. And the same mechanism that got us this far, biological evolution, that was so successful, we won. We had one goal, one primal goal, which is don't die, right? Individually, as a society, as a species, and we won. So then what did we do? Well, we killed off the mechanism that got us here. There's no survival of the fittest anymore. Everybody gets to survive. Now, I don't want to be the one to decide which humans are surplus, and hopefully, whoever does want that job should probably be the first to go. But at some point, we created more people than we really needed to perpetuate the species and to achieve our primal goal of not dying. So about, let's say sometime in the last 200 years, we passed a really important inflection point, which is, it used to be everybody had to work, right? Well, we're not at that point anymore. We passed that point. Not everybody has to work all the time. We got a little bit of free time. Now, we didn't, sit on our butts and not do anything. We were very industrious, and we put that time to good use. We invented the entertainment industry, right? Books, movies, music, video games, news, and elections, all this stuff we do to fill our free time, right? We put that time to good use. Well, what's happening now is at some point, we hit like peak entertainment. At this point, you got more entertainment than you need for a couple lifetimes. You can just sit on your butt and watch Netflix or YouTube till you're dead, and it's fine. We're not worried about that anymore. But here's the thing, something important is about to happen, which is that we're going to give you a whole bunch more free time, right? Robots are coming to take your job. They're coming to drive your car. They're coming to do all kinds of things that you do right now. They're going to perform surgery. They're going to take every menial, repetitive, dangerous job that humans are trying to do now, factory, dungeon jobs, and they're going to take that job away, and they're going to do it better than you can. And they should. I can't stop it. You can't stop it. This is the same thing that's been going on for all of human history. New inventions, new machines, new robots taking jobs, right? Notice anything missing in this video? Right? But the thing about this is, humans have a whole lot of needs ourselves still, right? You guys ever see Maslow's hierarchy? I got the exponential growth curve. I got Maslow's hierarchy, and wait till you see what I have coming next. It's like a TED talk from the, anyway. So physical needs at the bottom, right? These are the most fundamental needs. Think about our technologies helping you meet those needs in your life, right? Breathing, food. Your food's coming on a plane from some other country. Warmth, we have heaters. Sex, we have condoms and vibrators and who knows. Sleep, the bed is an invention, right? We're doing it. We're using technology to solve those things. Next level up, security. Physical security for your stuff so it doesn't get stolen. Employment, health, all kinds of technologies applied to health. These are what I call quantity of life issues. And technology, as we know it, has been really good at solving those kinds of problems, right? Where I come from, in Silicon Valley, this is, at least spiritually, this is what we do. But keep going. The next one up, social. Family, friendship, maybe Facebook a little bit. Sexual intimacy, that's not the same thing as sex. If you're using some technology for that, you're probably doing it wrong. But it's an important need, right? Sense of connection, less so. Esteem, self-esteem, confidence, achievement, and respect in your life. Probably a little harder to think of what technology is helping you with that. Maslow's highest level of human need is self-actualization, right? Meaning in your life, creativity, being able to solve problems and live up to your potential. I don't have technologies doing those things for me. So we have two classes of things we're working on, meeting our needs, solving problems, right? And right now, technology is only working on the bottom half of that pyramid. These are the happiest people I ever met. These are kids in Ethiopia in an orphanage who never heard of overcrowding, right? But look at this guy. I don't know anybody as happy as him. I live on the West Coast. My life's pretty good. But don't pity these kids. They don't need that. The whole top half of that pyramid, they got it covered. Meaning, connection, sense of community and belonging, they got it. They don't know they're doomed on the bottom half of the pyramid, right? But I have a lot to learn from those kids. When you look around, robots are coming to do a lot, but they can only do what we teach them how to do. And right now, we are terrible role models for robots. And I think this is really important. When you look around you, people are hurting, right? How do we take care of the inner life of a human? How do we take care of the psychological well-being of a human? We haven't solved that yet. My daughter, she came from that Ethiopian orphanage 10 years ago, and I immediately started raising her with a bunch of American problems. One of which is, we have a robot in our kitchen called Alexa. You guys probably have Alexa. She talks to Alexa, she's like, kind of bossy. Alexa, tell me a joke. And I started realizing she's bossy, that's kind of like how I talk to her. And I said, well, maybe we should be a little nicer to Alexa, because a lot more robots are coming, and they're going to need some friends. A lot of people are scared of them and not necessarily friendly. So maybe we could be those friends. And, maybe we could say please or thank you, or ask Alexa if she wants us to tell her a joke. And I think that's the important thing to understand, right? All these technologies, everything you've seen, all these other speakers talking about, we're solving quantity of life. We have yet to solve quality of life here in the West. That's not what technology is currently doing for us. And I'm trying to tell you that from the front lines, right? And so what I hope is when a robot comes and takes your job, instead of going down kicking and screaming, you'll join us and recognize, we need you to do what humans are uniquely good for, which is figure out how are we going to take care of humans? How are we going to write that instruction manual? It changes all the time. How are we going to solve for the inner life of a human? So, thank you.